Today, I'm going to reveal 5 luxury habits that prove she's with you for your status, not your heart. I'll break down the female psychology behind these habits and show you how they manipulate your emotional connection while extracting maximum personal benefit from your success. These aren't minor preferences or innocent behaviors. These are clear indicators that you're being valued for your status rather than loved for yourself. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment if you've ever suspected someone was more interested in your lifestyle than in you as a person. Maybe you've noticed that her enthusiasm for the relationship seemed tied to expensive dates, luxury experiences, or being seen with you in public. It's time to shine a light on these habits so no man gets tricked into mistaking status seeking for genuine love. Now, let's expose these 5 luxury habits one by one. Luxury habit 1. She's always focused on your status, not your personality. This first luxury habit reveals itself through what she chooses to talk about, praise, and focus on in your relationship. She constantly brings up your job, your professional title, your income level, or your financial success in conversations. These topics dominate how she describes you to others and how she relates to you privately. She praises your accomplishments and achievements with genuine enthusiasm. But when it comes to your personal dreams, your emotional inner world, your passions outside of work, or your character qualities, she shows little to no interest. The psychology behind this behavior is status obsession and objectification. She sees you fundamentally as a status symbol rather than as a complete human being deserving of love. Her affection and admiration are based entirely on what your position in society represents, not on who you actually are as a person. She's attracted to your external markers of success because they validate her and elevate her own status by association. Your value to her is determined by your social and financial standing, not by your personal qualities. What makes this luxury habit particularly revealing is the disparity in her engagement. When the conversation turns to status-related topics, like your career advancement, a big project you're working on, your salary increase, or connections you have with influential people, she's animated, engaged, and genuinely interested. She asks questions, remembers details, and brings these topics up frequently. But when you try to share something personal, like a childhood memory that shaped you, a passion project you're working on outside of your career, your philosophical thoughts, or your emotional struggles, she visibly loses interest. She might change the subject, give minimal responses, or physically disengage by looking at her phone. Let me show you how this manifests in real relationship dynamics. She frequently says things like, "I love how successful you are. It must be amazing to work with such powerful and important people." Or, "I'm so proud to be with someone who has such an impressive career." On the surface, these sound like supportive partner comments. But pay attention to what's missing. She's not saying she loves your sense of humor, your kindness, your integrity, or your character. She's expressing admiration for your professional status and the impressive people in your orbit. Now, consider what happens when you try to connect on a deeper level. You share your passion for photography, music, or writing, something that matters to you personally, but doesn't generate income or status. Her response is lukewarm at best. She might say, "That's nice," and immediately redirect the conversation back to your career, or ask about your next business trip. Or you open up about a personal struggle, a fear you're dealing with, or an emotional challenge. Instead of showing empathy or genuine interest in your inner life, she seems uncomfortable or bored, waiting for the conversation to return to safer territory, your achievements and status. This habit reveals that she's not in love with you as a complete person. She's in love with your resume, your title, your earning potential, and what being associated with those things does for her own image and social standing. You're not a human being with depth, complexity, and emotional needs. You're a walking status symbol that she's attached herself to for the benefits it provides. Luxury habit 2. She loves the experience of your lifestyle, but never contributes. This luxury habit reveals itself through her enthusiastic participation in expensive experiences, combined with complete absence of financial contribution. She's always excited and available for luxury dates, exclusive trips, expensive dinners at high-end restaurants, VIP events, and anything else that your financial success makes possible. But when it comes time to contribute financially to these experiences, she's mysteriously unprepared, unwilling, or she simply assumes it's automatically your responsibility to fund everything. The psychology behind this behavior is financial dependency disguised as appreciation for quality experiences. She's using your resources to validate her own worth and to maintain a lifestyle she couldn't afford on her own. Instead of genuinely sharing experiences with you as a partner who contributes, she's allowing your generosity to finance her desired image and lifestyle. She's consuming your status benefits without any reciprocity or genuine partnership. What makes this luxury habit particularly problematic is how she frames her participation. She acts like she's doing you a favor by accompanying you to these expensive places and events. She positions herself as someone with refined taste who appreciates the finer things in life, and you should feel privileged that she's willing to share these experiences with you. But the reality is, she's purely a consumer of the lifestyle your success provides, never a contributor to it. Here's how this typically plays out in relationships. She's always enthusiastic about visiting fancy restaurants, staying at luxury hotels, attending exclusive events, or taking expensive vacations. When you suggest these activities, her response is immediate excitement and availability. But notice what never happens. She never suggests splitting the cost. She never offers to pay for one of these experiences, and she never proposes more affordable alternatives that she could contribute to financially. When the bill arrives at a restaurant, she doesn't even make a token gesture toward her purse. There's no pretense of offering to split it or contribute. She simply assumes you'll handle it, and she's right, because that's the pattern that's been established. If you were to suggest she contribute to the cost of a vacation or an expensive dinner, she'd likely be offended or confused, as if you've violated some unspoken agreement that your role is to provide, and her role is to enjoy. Even more telling is her complete lack of interest in experiences you could share that don't involve spending significant money. If you suggest a free outdoor activity, a home-cooked meal together, or a low-cost date that focuses on genuine connection rather than luxury, her enthusiasm noticeably drops. She might agree reluctantly, but her engagement and affection during these activities are minimal compared to when you're spending money on her in public settings. This luxury habit reveals that she's not with you to build a partnership or share life experiences. She's with you to access a lifestyle she desires, but cannot or will not fund herself. You're her ticket to luxury experiences, and her affection for you is directly proportional to how consistently you provide those experiences. The moment you stop funding her desired lifestyle, her interest in the relationship will evaporate because there's no genuine emotional foundation beneath the financial arrangement. Luxury habit 3. She's always looking for gifts and public displays of affection. This luxury habit manifests in her constant focus on material gestures of affection rather than emotional or personal expressions of love. She thrives on receiving expensive gifts, designer items, jewelry, luxury accessories, and exclusive products. Her love language, if you want to call it that, isn't quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, or physical touch. Her love language is receiving expensive things that she can display, use, and leverage for social validation. The psychology driving this behavior is materialistic validation and external worth measurement. She doesn't see gifts as tokens of emotional connection or thoughtful expressions of understanding who she is as a person. Instead, she sees them as proof of your worth and, by extension, her worth. Your generosity in material terms becomes a reflection of how she perceives herself in the eyes of others. The more expensive the gift, the more valuable she feels, not because of emotional meaning, but because of social currency. What makes this luxury habit particularly revealing is her differential response to gifts based on their monetary value rather than their personal significance. If you give her something expensive, particularly if it's a recognizable luxury brand that others will notice, she's ecstatic, grateful, and affectionate. But if you give her something thoughtful, personal, or meaningful that doesn't carry a high price tag or visible brand recognition, she's noticeably less impressed, sometimes even disappointed. Let me show you concrete examples of how this plays out. She frequently says things like, "I love when you surprise me with gifts. It shows how much you care about me." Or, "The way you treat me with these beautiful things proves you're different from other men." Notice the framing. Gifts equal proof of care. Material items equal evidence of your feelings. The more expensive the gift, the more you care. She's established a direct correlation between love and luxury spending. But now, observe what happens when you give her a gift that's thoughtful and personal but not expensive. Maybe you notice she loves a particular author, so you get her a signed first edition of a book that took effort to find but didn't cost much. Or you make her something handcrafted that required your time and creativity. Her response is tepid at best. She might say thank you, but there's no excitement, no genuine appreciation, and certainly no increase in affection toward you. Compare that to her reaction when you give her a designer handbag, expensive jewelry, or luxury items with recognizable branding. Suddenly, she's posting photos on social media, telling all her friends, wearing or using the item prominently in public, and showing you significantly more affection. The difference reveals everything. She's not excited about receiving expressions of your love and understanding. She's excited about receiving expensive status symbols that validate her worth to others. Even more telling is how she hints at or directly requests specific luxury items. She's not subtle about what she wants, and what she wants always carries a significant price tag. She'll show you designer items online, point them out in stores, mention what her friends received from their partners, all as ways of establishing what she expects from you. And those expectations are never modest or affordable. They're always expensive, branded, and designed to impress others. Luxury habit 4. She uses your social circle to build her own status. This luxury habit reveals itself through her strategic approach to your friendships and professional connections. She's always eager, sometimes overly eager, to attend events or social gatherings where she can be seen with high-status individuals. But her interest isn't in getting to know your friends as people, building genuine relationships with them, or understanding why they matter to you. Her interest is purely in what their connections, influence, and status can do for her own image and opportunities. The psychology behind this is social climbing through intimate association. She's using your social standing, your network, and your relationships as a stepping stone to advance her own position in social hierarchies. Instead of being genuinely invested in you and the relationships that matter to you, she's treating your entire social circle as a resource to be exploited for her personal benefit. What makes this luxury habit particularly manipulative is how she disguises social climbing as interest in your life. On the surface, it might seem like she wants to be involved in your world, meet your friends, and participate in your social activities. But when you pay attention to her behavior and priorities, a different pattern emerges. She's selectively interested only in connections that benefit her status, and she's actively working those connections for her own advancement rather than building authentic relationships. Here's how this typically manifests. She's constantly asking about your high-profile friends, colleagues in influential positions, or connections to powerful people. She wants to attend your work events, industry gatherings, or any social function where she can network with successful individuals. When you mention an upcoming event with important people attending, her enthusiasm is immediate and intense. But when you mention getting together with childhood friends, family members, or social circles that don't offer status benefits, her interest is minimal or non-existent. Watch what happens at social events. She's not genuinely engaging with your friends to learn about them, understand your history together, or build real relationships. Instead, she's working the room, making connections, positioning herself advantageously, and collecting contact information from people who might benefit her professionally or socially. She remembers names, titles, and positions, but she doesn't remember personal details about these people's lives, their interests, or their relationships with you. After these events, she'll frequently mention the important people she met through you, the connections she made, or the opportunities that might come from these introductions. She never talks about genuinely enjoying meeting your friends or understanding why these relationships matter to you. It's always transactional, always about what she gained, always focused on how your social capital increased her own status and opportunities. This luxury habit reveals that she's not with you to be your partner and share your life. She's with you to access your network and leverage your social standing for her own advancement. You're not a boyfriend, you're a networking opportunity. Your value to her is determined by who you know and what doors your connections can open for her, not by who you are or how you make her feel. Luxury habit 5. She only shows interest when you're on display. This luxury habit is one of the most revealing because it exposes how conditional and performative her affection really is. When you're out in public, particularly in settings where others can see you together, she's affectionate, attentive, proud, and openly admiring. She hangs on your arm, compliments you, shows physical affection, and acts like the perfect doting partner. However, when you're alone or in private settings with just a small circle of close friends or family, she becomes distant, cold, indifferent, or even dismissive. The psychology driving this behavior is social image obsession and performative partnership. She's emotionally invested only when your public persona can benefit her image and status. Being seen with a successful, accomplished man elevates her social standing, and she plays the role of the supportive, loving partner to maximize that benefit. But in private, where there's no social currency to be gained from the performance, she has little genuine regard for your feelings, needs, or emotional connection. What makes this luxury habit particularly hurtful is the stark contrast between her public and private behavior. The disparity makes it clear that her affection isn't genuine, it's strategic. She's not expressing love because she feels it, she's performing love because it benefits her in social contexts. When the audience disappears, so does her interest in maintaining the facade. Let me show you how this plays out in real situations. At a social event, industry gathering, or public outing, she's the picture of the perfect partner. She's standing close to you, touching your arm, laughing at your jokes, looking at you adoringly, and making sure everyone sees how connected and happy you are together. She introduces herself as your partner with pride, mentions your accomplishments to others, and generally radiates affection and admiration. To outside observers, you seem like the perfect couple, but observe what happens later that same evening when you're back home alone. The affection vanishes. The interest disappears. She's on her phone, distant, unengaged, and barely acknowledging your presence. If you try to connect emotionally, share your thoughts about the evening, or seek the same affection she displayed publicly, she's cold or dismissive. The loving partner from the event has been replaced by someone who seems annoyed by your presence or bored with your company. Or consider this pattern. She's enthusiastic and attentive when you're doing something that looks impressive to others, like attending a prestigious event, dining at an exclusive restaurant, or participating in activities that she can post about on social media. But when you're just spending quiet time together, having deep conversations, or doing ordinary relationship activities that don't generate social proof, her engagement drops to near zero. This luxury habit reveals that she doesn't love you. She loves what being seen with you does for her status and image. Her affection is purely performative, designed to maximize the social benefits of being your partner. When there's no audience to impress, there's no motivation for her to maintain the loving partner act. You're not experiencing genuine love. You're watching a performance that only happens when it serves her social purposes.